YouTubers. Today I'm going to talk about the third rule in the Software Engineering Manifesto, which is the usability of your software. Your software should just be a plug and play kind of software. Should not be weird to use, should not be complicated, should be just simple. Look at Google search engine, for instance. It's a text box with a button. That's all it took to represent a search engine to the world. Your software should just be as simple as that. Do not have your end users do a lot of work or do extra clicks to get to a certain thing they could have done in an easier way. You have to be customer focused from the perspective of that your software needs to be simple. It should just work, plug and play. But there's a tricky part in here. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of real good software that works great from an end user perspective, but it's very hard to maintain from a back-end perspective. Your software, your code should also be a plug and play for the software engineers that are going to maintain it. It doesn't make sense that you make a pristine software that everyone wants to use, but maintaining that software is really troublesome for the engineers that want to help you keep your software up and running. So from a code perspective, an ideal good source code is a source code that you can pull, build, and run. Pull from the source code, build, and run. If your software requires more than that, then something is really wrong with your software that you need to work on. A lot of people would say, no, I need certificates, I need to install this or that. The code that lives in the source code should have the dev environment and the local environment configuration ready for people to pull it in and just run it. You know, they don't have to go ask you questions of how to build your software. If your source code needs mandatory configurations, that there's no way around it, then document your software and make sure that your repository in GitHub or whatever it is, your repository has enough documentation for people to go in and know how to install the necessary components before they start using your software. Anything less than that is not exactly a good software engineering pattern. Anything less than that for the end users, don't take the complexity of the code out to your end users. They don't have to deal with that. The whole reason why you get paid so much money is because they don't want to deal with that. So your part here, whether you're a front end or a back end engineer, is to build software that is easy to use, that is just simple. Always think about simplicity. And when you think about simplicity, think about less clicks, less pollution on the screen. You don't need to add in 20 text boxes and 3 buttons for your end users to perform a certain task. If you really have to do that, then look up a fundamental design or material design and how to make a form that people have to fill a lot easier. Like I've seen the other day, people have simplified the form design into 3 steps. So you're filling in your name and email, and then you click in, you move on to a next screen where you fill in, let's say, your address or your contact information, whatnot. Think about simplicity. And simplicity doesn't necessarily mean there's no complexity behind it, but that complexity should be documented and should be easy to read and easy to use. And I highly recommend that you follow up on best patterns and best practices for both front end and back end, from an engineering perspective, from a coding perspective, from an end user perspective, in order for you to build a good industrial software that people would want to use. If you have any comments, questions, feel free to type it in the comment section. I will leave a link, just like every other Software Engineer Manifesto video, for the whole manifesto of rules for software engineering. And I'll see you in another video, and thank you for watching.